Today. Now going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Vivek on Nikki Haley actually helping Biden idea going viral, to say the least. Now, this comes to us thanks to Vivek's ex-Twitter profile, and he is responding to Jack Gonzell. Now, Jack Gonzell said, quote, Team Trump South Carolina will hold a press conference featuring Vivek at 4 in South Carolina. Now, Vivek responded, said, quote, Nikki did not even try to collect any delegates in Nevada, and now she'll get 0 from South Carolina, yet her anti-Trump mega donor money is still flowing. The game is hiding in plain sight. They're hoping for Biden's lawfare to eliminate Trump and then backdoor Nikki, or else make a play for her. No labels to detract votes from Trump in general. Not going to hold back in today in South Carolina. Now, granted, that was a couple days ago, but still, as a youth mistake, went viral, getting 2.6 million views and 31,000 likes, which, of course, does beg the question, what on earth is she doing? Because again, it's almost comical to look at the poll aggregator right now because, again, Trump's ahead by leaps and bounds. Now, again, this is the aggregator, the poll aggregator for the Republican nominee. And in terms of Trump, I mean, it's almost like the NVIDIA stock. He has gone up exponentially, starting off over a year ago, coming in at, 45.2%. And, of course, you had DeSantis, close, around 33%. And then, of course, DeSantis went down like a BlackBerry stock or a Palo Alto Network stock. Terrible to say the least, shooting himself in the high-heeled boots multiple times with a 50 caliber. Now, Trump, again, started at 45.9%, currently at 77.7% for the Republican nominee. And Nikki Haley, she's a couple weeks, she's been hanging pretty steady around the same 16.4%. And again, I'm not sure, there's just no statistical way that she'll be the Republican nominee unless the government bans Trump from running. That's always the caveat. I suppose that could be the curveball. But again, she's, what's the nice way of saying she doesn't have a snowball chance in hell? The odds are never 0, of course, but it's like 0.00000000102. That's probably the odds that she will get the Republican nominee. Which begs the question, why are people still giving her a lot of money for her campaign? Is it because she has a lot of Democratic policies? I mean, one of the most powerful, influential CEOs in the world, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, he told people to, if you're a business owner, if you're someone more on the left, give her money because a lot of her ideals are of that. And many of her ideas are the antithesis of Donald Trump. It's the opposite. But let's go in the comments and see what the folks have to say. Paul Zazupa says, quote, perfectly said Vivek, Nikki Haley is not a real Republican candidate. She's just an establishment tool contrived to try to hurt President Trump's campaign. Haley will continue to get obliterated in the primaries, but she doesn't care. She's getting paid one way or another, unquote. And that got 813 likes. Right Angle News Network says, quote, any Republican who votes for Nikki Haley is gullible enough to fall for state propaganda. A vote for Nikki Haley is a vote for the deep state. She runs her campaign as if it's a campaign against Donald Trump and not against a real person bringing our country down, Joe Biden, unquote, getting 1.7 thousand likes. Cheyenne00 says, quote, every Republican should repost this. Tucker Carlson saying, or it's a quote from Tucker Carlson, they rigged the election in front of all of us, no one did anything about it. And it's a picture of, a minivan, which I can't imagine how dead you are inside driving a minivan. But it's a minivan of some gentleman getting out, and it's all stuffed with all the ballots. Let's see here. So, what are they doing? They're just unloading the minivan. So it's a minivan. What are they doing? They're just collecting ballots. And maybe campaign signs too. That got 1.8 thousand likes. James Lynette also did a post of Vivek calling out Nikki Haley, saying she wants to send all this money to Ukraine, but she can't name a single city over there. Let's see here. Red Wave Press says, quote, Nikki Haley needs to drop out. No conservative wants her as a nominee. Nikki Haley is a Democrat who takes money from Democrats and needs Democrats for her to win her primary to win, unquote. Follow if you agree, unquote, getting 523 likes. Which is also quite concerning. Again, let me know if you've heard differently. But in terms of my lifetime, I've never noticed Democrats voting in Republican primaries. Again, and they're all voting overwhelmingly for her. I haven't noticed Republicans doing that. It's certainly an unusual activity, to say the least. Alec Lace says, quote, Nikki Haley is only on it to attack Donald Trump, getting 489 likes. Chris Mandemit says, quote, never Nikki, who's with me, getting 561 likes. Valentin Gomez simply says, let's go, and a picture of her holding the Trump campaign sign, getting 676 likes. Let's see. Ooh, we finally found a contrarian. I was going to say, more information, more data, the better. More interesting life tends to be is when you have some differing opinions. Now, Jenna Greenspan says, quote, 20 Donald Trump business ventures that failed miserably via Wealth of Geeks. And there's an article to MSN. Let's see here. And it looks like it's an article going over the 20 businesses he's owned that apparently failed. Now, some of those are kind of, I would say, not very accurate in terms of how you define failed just at a quick glance. Because, again, some of the things that failed on a mass adoption rate in terms of, no one buys a Trump steak anymore or Trump vodka or anything like that. Like, you and I aren't buying it. But he uses that to supply many of the businesses that he owns, including Mar-a-Lago, that club, and many of the hotels that he owns. So he's making money off those businesses, even though it's not a mass adopted product. Not too unsimilar like Nokia. I mean, consumers think Nokia is, bankrupt out of business. No, they're still one of the largest telecommunication companies on the planet, but they don't sell cell phones to consumers. They sell networking devices and infrastructure to businesses to build out the back end of logistics of the back end network for the technology to work. So, and again, there are a couple here on her list that they did fail, but also if you look at Trump's overall odds, I think he's had over 500 LLCs and businesses in his life, and they have only 20, I would debate, less than 20 fail, depending on how you measure the metric and define the word failure. That's still a pretty good at bat, especially when you consider most businesses fail within the first year, even more fail with the second year. To make it 3 years in business is exceedingly rare. It's difficult as hell. I mean, for my tech company to stay in business, I still grind 105 hours a week to build it and to grow it. There's some dark times there. There's a lot of uncertainty. So I don't think she's necessarily accurate in her statement, but 1.5 thousand people did agree with her statement because they liked it. I mean, I didn't, but again, 1.5 thousand people did. You also have DV saying, quote, you got to hand it to the Dems. They've got Plan A, Biden, Plan B, Haley, and Plan C, fraud, etc., while Republicans barely have a Plan A. You don't need a policy when you have superior tactics, unquote. Getting 266 likes. And yeah, Republicans are not great at winning. I mean, statistically speaking, thankfully Ron McDaniel is gone. She's failed more times than many can count. But they definitely need some new leadership and someone who knows actual strategy and politics because, again, they seemingly fail time and time again. Let's see. Last one we'll do is mediocre thoughts. Because after that, looks like the rest of these statements are getting between 0 and 13 likes. Now this one, mediocre thoughts, says, quote, backdoor Nikki seems to be an appropriate name, unquote, getting 175 likes. So while we did have that, and I'm scrolling down trying to find more contrarian statements, we did find that one, but overall, I mean, overwhelming support for Vivek, and it'll be interesting to see, what's her real plan, because, I mean, statistically speaking, she can't win. It's just, she doesn't have the numbers, but she's still raising capital, and maybe it is just the thought, because again, if one of the lawsuits sticks, or if he gets legally barred from running, then she would be the only option, which would be, for many people, concerning to say the least. So it'll be interesting to see, but as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down is a great way to give me some additional feedback so I can learn how to make the show better and better. Also, sharing with a friend, great way to assist as well. And specifically, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.